certified financial planning professional and small business coach based here in Austin, Texas. Welcome back to your financial therapy for the week. Thanks as always for tuning in. Before we get started, I do need to ask you if you've been enjoying the show, like, subscribe, give us a review wherever you're listening or watching. Send us your feedback. I'd love to hear from you at the number below. So today's episode is going to be kind of a short one, but it's all about gratitude. And when I say that, I am instantly like thinking, oh gosh, this is going to sound so preachy and so ridiculous. But this is financial therapy after all. And one of the things that I think I've noticed in the last few days of interactions with folks around financial stuff going on in their lives is just how much gratitude and a good attitude about your finances really does change your entire outlook on managing them, spending money, even when hardship happens. And so, a couple stories over the last several days. One of my close friends purchased a home for the first time, and I was kind of shocked because instead of being really excited and feeling like, oh my gosh, I've reached this goal and this has happened, most of the conversation was about the real estate market, how tough it was, how, much of a mortgage payment was now on the table, and, feeling overwhelmed. And it's like, okay, first of all, maybe that wasn't the best purchase, because if it doesn't make you feel good and feel fulfilled, then maybe something's off. But in the case that it is actually something that's a lifelong dream of yours or a goal that you've had, it's really important to take a step back and live in the gratitude of that moment. And, it was very interesting when it was measured up against the extreme gratitude of a colleague of mine whose car ended up totaled, no fault of her own, and then she's got to go out and purchase a new car. And this is in the midst of, really an affordability crisis when it comes to cars, whether new or old. And so obviously a very inconvenient thing for that to happen. But it was an opportunity to highlight, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go and actually take the time and find something. Like, this circumstance has forced me into having this really exciting opportunity. And I was just so blown away by the juxtaposition of these two people. One who, something that, by any measure is really exciting having happened, and then it was all about the obligation of it all and the responsibility that was now on his plate. And then over here, it's like this genuinely terrible thing happened to you, no fault of your own, and you are turning it into an opportunity and something to be grateful and excited about. And so it really just got me thinking about gratitude in our finances and how much that intentional gratitude can change our mindset, our mental focus when it comes to finances. And so I created this episode because I really just wanted to kind of get us thinking. Like I said, it's financial therapy. Gratitude definitely sounds kind of Pollyannish and, just be grateful even when you're in hardship. But truly, if you can't find reasons to be happy and grateful where you're at, you are almost guaranteed to not be happy and grateful with whatever you get. And so I think the message today is, how do we be intentionally grateful? How do we turn even negative feelings and emotions around finances into something to be grateful for? And so that's my pitch. I would be really interested to see if this works for anybody, because it really is a heart-lifting thing to flip some of the scripts and some of the narratives that we tell ourselves, and find the thing to be grateful for. I've seen it work in my own life, and so I'm challenging you a little bit to make that your mantra. So here's 4 ways to combat the 4 Horsemen with gratitude. And for those of you guys who haven't listened to the 4 Horsemen episode, I definitely encourage you to do so. We've also done some deep dives on these areas that I think really get us when we are emotionally in these spaces with our financial management and our just financial wellness. And so combating the 4 Horsemen with gratitude, I think, is just a really interesting concept. And like I said, I challenge you guys to kind of think about this and maybe give it a try and let me know how it goes. So the first of the 4 Horsemen is obligation. So obviously we all know what that's like. I mentioned the new home purchase can weigh heavy. You know, you can start feeling like, oh my gosh, I have put so much on my plate. This is a new obligation that I've added, and I don't know how that's going to work out. And it can be overwhelming. Obligation can also come from family, friends, all sorts of places. And if you feel that heaviness on your heart, one way of like releasing that and potentially combating it with gratitude would be to think about how thankful you are for the privilege of identifying your priorities and intentionally choosing to meet financial responsibilities like a mortgage payment. If you think about what it takes to actually move through that process and, log a win for yourself, for your family, that is something huge to be grateful for. And it's important that we express that gratitude out loud, and to other people. I think that's the important thing, is we can get tied down. It's like the guy who's like, yeah, I didn't sleep at all last night. It was a horrible night. And on the days when you do sleep well, you forget to thank the universe for that wonderful night's sleep. And so, being thankful for that privilege to set boundaries, budgets are boundaries, to understand your priorities, to know that this is something that was a goal for you, and then to move forward with it and be in gratitude in that space. That's, I feel, one way that we can potentially combat obligation. The other thing is, you have people that you're obligated to, or responsibilities that you're obligated to, and that's exciting. It would be kind of sad if you didn't have anybody to do anything for. And so being grateful for the people in your life that you do feel an obligation to, even if it's, kind of weighing heavily on you, flipping that script to be grateful for the people and the priorities and the things around you that really in the end are the reason you're living your life and why you would take on such an obligation. So first thing. The second of the 4 Horsemen is fear and denial, and those two kind of go together. And I think the way to combat this horseman is to be grateful for the clarity of recognizing what matters to you to protect. So let's say you have a fear of losing your job because you're not going to obviously have an income if that were to happen. The idea of letting that highlight for you how important it is to be financially free, to find some sort of steady income source, to work another day at the job that you might fear losing. I get it. I get that it's really hard to be in that space. But again, I've seen it work for me, where when you flip the script and wake up in the morning and go, man, I am just so grateful that I still have this job, or that I still can make a payment on this loan, or that I am able to tap into a resource that maybe other people don't have access to, even though I'm living in a lot of fear, or I may be in some denial about my circumstances, my big picture circumstances. I have these options available to me to think through, and my fear is pointing me in the direction I need to go. It's pointing me in the direction that I need to look for change. Whatever you're most scared about is probably the thing that needs to change in your life in order for you to feel more secure and more comfortable. And so be thankful for that fear, because it's helping you find your way. It's helping you get some clarity in recognizing what actually does matter to you in life, and potentially what you need to do to kind of alleviate some of those fears. Okay, the third of the four horsemen is also a combo of guilt and shame. Oh, so delicious. So this one, I think being grateful that you want to live in integrity with what you've set out to do. And also you could add a layer to that and be grateful if you have the tools and the information, or you're building the courage and the wisdom to tell the truth to yourself, to tell the truth to other people, and live in that integrity with your finances. So you don't have to feel guilty or shamed about doing what you said you would do, or not doing what you didn't say you're gonna do. It's a very empowering thing. And so being grateful that if you do feel guilt or shame about something, that you have the ability to go and correct that mistake, correct that that circumstance, or at least be in integrity with yourself by telling the truth about what actually happened, even if it's just to yourself. So, you know, you blew a bunch of money on a vacation you couldn't afford. Instead of feeling guilty and shame about it, or even if you do feel guilt and shame about it, understanding that, oh gosh, that taught me a big lesson about financial anxiety. And I know that it's not worth it to me to be in severe debt in order to have that experience. Maybe it is worth it to you to be in debt over that experience, and that can help clarify for you some of what your goals and priorities actually are. But if you feel that guilt and shame, it's just a message to you to figure out how you need to live in integrity with yourself, and being grateful for that experience and for those feelings, so that you can make a change, so that you can look honestly at what you're doing and how you need to be doing it differently going forward. And the final of the four horsemen, pride. So I think this is one where it's kind of like backwards, because obviously if you are living in a sense of financial pride, it can often make you appear like you're a lot better off than you actually are. So one of the things that I think can combat this in a place of gratitude is to be thankful for those who care about you authentically and without all of the stuff. Finding the people, finding the ways that you can live in fulfillment and peace and love without having to posture or without feeling like if you make a financial mistake, you're going to be shunned or outside the loop. Finding and being thankful for people who care about you authentically and care about your well-being, not your facade. Being thankful for the good company you keep with family and friends and like real people who are not judging you based on what you have, is a great thing to think about and to really consider to combat the horsemen of pride. Staying off social media and focusing in on the things that really matter. So all of this said, like I said before, it definitely sounds really Pollyanna-ish. Is that? Anyway, to focus in on gratitude even for the bad things that are happening in your life, even for the negative things that are occurring. But negative feelings in our life just point us to what we need to change. And they also can point us to what really matters. What are the things that really matter to you? Because they are that output of our true heart and our true soul and our true purpose. And so we can be grateful even for the negative things, even for the bad things that happen, because they point us in a direction of wonder and more and knowing and loving. And truly, I think the through line through all of this is people, like real people who love and care about you, are not going to overly obligate you or cause you to feel fear or cause you to feel guilt and shame or cause you to have to posture and be prideful or, feel like you can never make a mistake. It's the making of mistakes and the lack of integrity in your finances that can help you point yourself in the right direction, clean up your mess when you make mistakes, know what you really do want to prioritize and what really doesn't matter for you. If you're kicking yourself about spending money or about losing a job or about making a stumble, it's in your power how you think about that circumstance and how you turn it around. And I think gratitude is a really powerful tool for doing that, just as a first step. And so since so much of our thinking around money can be focused on what we don't have, gratitude, I'm offering it up as something to think about. And it is definitely a challenge. So I challenge you to take a look at the things that you've been complaining or upset about or fearful about, that you felt burdened by in your financial life. I challenge you to find the gratitude. What is the thing that you can be thankful, grateful for? And then tell like a friend or tell me. I'd love to hear it. I think that message just helps us with our well-being overall. It's so much of this financial wellness and well-being has nothing to do with how much money you actually have. There are really rich people who are just miserable people. And there are people who have very little and they are gratefully, happily living life. So what is the key? And I think this is it. And so I'm really interested to know if this changes your mindset or changes your view on your own personal finances. Let me know at the number below. All right. Thanks so much, guys. This was Combating the Four Horsemen with Gratitude. And I will be back next week with another episode.